Hi everyone, good evening. This is your girl Ameera Tevlin. I'm back and I wanted to conduct a video regarding applying for scholarships. A lot of students out there are depending on their student loans. And what you don't realize are there's two different types of loans. There's subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Subsidized loans is the lender that is lending you the money to go to school. They pay for the interest, which is good. But in general, we don't like loans. Nobody likes loans. Okay, we have to take out loans just because that's just like the norm. But unsubsidized loans is when the lender does not pay for the interest, you pay for the interest. So the interest could be whatever, which is not good. So here are my top 8 tips for applying for scholarships, and I'm going to give you the different websites to go onto other than applying internally in your own university online or through the school, because I'm an online student and I apply online. So there's a website that I just learned about recently. It's called Scholly, SCHOLLY. I don't know if you guys ever watch Shark Tank. It's like a show where a lot of entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, or people that have already owned their own business and they make a lot of money and they go on the Shark Tank to, I guess what it's called, sponsorship or something. They ask the sharks to help them to grow their business more for capital for to make more money. There was this gentleman that I watched. He came from a really rough background and he was giving a story about how he was able to attain over $1 million in scholarships for himself because he grew up poor. And he is brilliant, and he made up this website called Scholly, SCHOLLY. And you go on there. There's a small little fee. It's like, I think it's like $2.95. I'll pay the fee. I don't care. But you go online and you type in your personal information. So they ask you for your information, and it asks you several questions about yourself, and it tries to match you with scholarships that are best suited for you. There's also fastwebs.com. Fastwebs is okay. I highly recommend Scholly more, just because yes, you have to conduct essays in order to enter, but the essays are not that extreme. Like, some essays you have to have like at least 500 words. Some are between 500 to 1,000 words. But some scholarships are between 500 to the one I saw, I think was like $10,000 or $20,000 for a scholarship. Some of them are no essay scholarships, so you just put in your information and just randomly apply. You never know. So there's Scholly, Fastwebs, scholarships for left-handed people. I'm left-handed. I'm the only left-handed person in my family, which is rare. Scholarships for women, Arab women, Latin women, Asian women. I mean, there's so many scholarships out there, and some people are just too lazy to apply themselves to these scholarships and say, oh, I'll pay back. No, because if you have an unsubsidized loan, which is interest that you pay on your own, versus a subsidized loan, you don't know what the interest is going to be. It could be variable. It could be anywhere between like 5 to like 25.99%, which is absurd. So you have to pay attention to what kind of loan you have. If you have grants, that's great, but also depends on how much money you make. A lot of people don't realize this, but I learned this on my own. My GPA, next thing I'm going to talk about, the next tip is your GPA. My GPA unfortunately declined from a 3.83 to a 3.72, only because my auditing teacher was a complete jerk. I would use another word, but I'm not going to because it's not appropriate, but he was a total, dick. And how some instructors, they just want to be a dick just to be a dick because they like it, and they have enough tenure in the university to just be a dick. So my GPA declined from a 3.83 to a 3.72. But hold on a second, I'm working diligently, hard to raise that back up to a 3.9. Okay, so make sure when you're applying for scholarships that your GPA is at least a 3.5, because I know the minimum is like a 3.0 or like a 3.2, but you don't want to be in that category of like a 3.1 or 3.2. You want to have at least a 3.5. Why? Because there's so much competition out there with students that have like a 3.5 or 3.8 or 4.0 or 4.5, but they don't apply themselves in such a good way to give a good first impression. So what I'm saying is, have at least a 3.5 GPA, and when you apply for these scholarships, when you write your essays, give it your all. Okay, give it your all, because you never know who is going to read that essay. My number 6 tip is, have as many letters of recommendation as possible. When you're whether it's online or in a public university, I'm not saying kiss ass, I'm not saying try really hard, but build a good relationship with your instructor. Okay, work really hard. Okay, participate, do whatever you need to do, whether it's extra credit or not, it doesn't matter. Build a good solid rapport with your instructor, because the better relationship you have with the instructor, in the end, if you ask them, hey, can you, would you be kind enough to compose a letter of recommendation for me for a scholarship or scholarships? And if you're sending a letter of recommendation, or if you're sending a scholarship out to a certain committee, they're going to ask you, we need at least 2 letters of recommendation. So it won't hurt to have as many of letter recommendations as possible. The more the merrier. The more you have, the more it's going to make you look better, and it's going to make you stand out against all the other competitors that are competing for the same scholarship. Number 7, apply to as many scholarships as possible. Okay, there's tons and tons and tons and tons of scholarships out there, whether it's $500 or $300 or $2,000. It doesn't matter, because it all adds up. $500. Let's say you get approved for 500. Next thing you know, you're getting another check in the mail for 3,000. It all adds up. Okay, so it might not seem like a lot in the beginning, but the more you apply yourself to these scholarships, the more you're gonna be like, oh my god, like $500 just came in, $2,000 just came in, $300 just came in. It adds up. So at the end of the day, let's say for example you owe $70,000 for school. Okay, that is gonna get applied to your school. So if you look at the big picture, it adds up. So don't think too much like, oh my god, it's only $500. No, dude, that's money. That's money that you don't have to pay back. Even grants. Okay, let's see, I already gave you number 7. Number 8, I think I already mentioned this, but maybe I didn't. Apply internally and externally. Internally means apply within your school. There's only so many scholarship committees that give money away for students. So apply internally and also externally. Okay, and remember, now it has changed. So committees no longer send the money to the student, they send it to the school, because some students unfortunately have taken advantage of the system to now where committees send the checks directly to the school, like for books and tuition and whatnot. So if you are getting scholarships sent to you, like the check sent to you, that was just a blessing in disguise. Usually now they only send the checks to the school because so many students have taken advantage of the money. So, make sure if they'll send you an email saying, oh, congratulations, you were chosen, for the scholarship, it's going to get sent to your school. But usually they ask you those questions at the beginning before you apply, like what school do you go to and whatnot. So you have to enter that in. But anyway, okay, so those are my top 8 tips when you're applying for scholarships. If you guys have any other questions, Q&As, like I said, please click the link at the bottom. I'd really appreciate it. Once again, this is your girl, Ameera Nasser Tevlin. Have a good night. Bye.